We're living through a fundamental transformation in the role of logistics. It's no longer just a support function, it's a critical arena where strategic advantage is won or lost. In recent years, adversaries have shifted from targeting combat power directly to targeting the sustainment networks that make operations possible. This shift demands a new mindset. Logistics must be as dynamic, resilient, and contested as any frontline domain. Look at the 2022 Ukraine conflict. Ukrainian forces with limited resources managed to outmaneuver a larger adversary by disrupting Russian supply lines, leveraging commercial technologies, and rapidly adapting to evolving threats. This isn't just a military lesson, it's a strategic imperative for any organization operating in contested environments. The framework here isn't theoretical, it's a blueprint for survival and success in the modern era. Contesting logistics means actively shaping the sustainment environment, disrupting adversaries while protecting and adapting our own networks. This requires technological superiority, resilient supply chains, robust commercial intelligence, strategic partnerships, and comprehensive risk management. Consider the Allied submarine campaign in the Pacific during World War II. By targeting Japanese shipping, the Allies crippled Japan's ability to sustain its war effort. Fast forward to today, the integration of commercial satellite communications, like Starlink in Ukraine, shows how partnerships and rapid tech adoption can create new forms of resilience. Contesting logistics is about more than efficiency, it's about creating operational dilemmas for adversaries and denying them the ability to dictate terms. Success now requires both offensive and defensive actions in logistics. Degrading adversary sustainment, enhancing our own resilience, and strengthening alliances are not isolated tasks, they're interconnected strategies. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed the fragility of global supply chains, forcing organizations to rethink redundancy, flexibility, and real-time visibility. In military terms, recent U.S. Indo-Pacific Command exercises have emphasized the need for integrated multi-domain logistics, blending conventional and unconventional methods to stay ahead of threats. The imperative is clear. Logistics must be anticipatory, adaptive, and deeply integrated across all domains and partners. There's a stark contrast between allied and adversary logistics capabilities. U.S., NATO, and partner nations often rely on complex, sometimes cumbersome systems that can be overbuilt, slow to adapt, and increasingly vulnerable to cyber threats. In comparison, adversaries have demonstrated a capacity for integration, agility, and anticipatory action that can catch even the most advanced coalitions off guard. This isn't just theory, it's been proven on the battlefield. During Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine, Russian logistics suffered from rigid command structures and centralized supply hubs, which became easy targets for Ukrainian strikes. At the same time, NATO's own wargames have exposed vulnerabilities within allied supply chains, especially when digital systems are fragmented or when bureaucratic processes slow down decision-making. A RAND Corporation study found that in simulated peer conflicts, even minor cyber disruptions could cascade into major operational delays for U.S. and allied forces. The real risk is cognitive as much as technological. When organizations are slow to recognize and adapt to emerging threats, whether that's a new cyber tactic or a shift in adversary doctrine, they leave themselves exposed. Bureaucratic inertia and outdated processes can turn what should be a competitive advantage into a strategic liability. History reinforces this point. During Operation Market Garden in World War II, Allied forces advanced rapidly, but failed to adequately secure and adapt their supply routes. The result was a logistical bottleneck that contributed to operational failure, despite initial tactical successes. What's demanded now is clear, a move from complicated, siloed systems to truly competitive integrated logistics. This means streamlining processes, embedding real-time intelligence, and building agility into every layer of the supply chain. Only then can logistics become a source of decisive advantage. Every vulnerability, whether a single point of failure, a slow approval process, or a cyber gap, can be exploited. The 2021 Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack halted fuel flows across the U.S. East Coast, showing how a single cyber incident can paralyze a critical supply chain. Similarly, the Suez Canal blockage by the Ever Given container ship demonstrated how choke points can cascade into global disruptions. Mapping these vulnerabilities isn't just an academic exercise. It's about anticipating where adversaries might strike and building resilience before a crisis hits. The organizations that succeed are those that proactively identify and address their weakest links, rather than waiting for failure to force change. History is filled with examples where logistics determined the outcome of conflict. In the Gulf War, rapid adaptation and coalition logistics integration enabled operational success. In contrast, the Suez Crisis exposed the dangers of over-centralization and flexible supply routes. The lesson is consistent. Vigilance, adaptability, and communication are non-negotiable. Failures often stem from resistance to change or a lack of integration. Issues that are just as relevant today as they were decades ago. Learning from these cases isn't optional. It's essential for building a logistics enterprise that can withstand and overcome modern challenges. Recent years have seen a series of major disruptions that underscore the fragility of global logistics. The semiconductor shortage crippled industries from automotive to defense, revealing the dangers of overconcentration and lack of redundancy. The Suez Canal blockage halted 12% of global trade, while the COVID-19 pandemic exposed the limits of just-in-time logistics. These events aren't isolated, they're signals of a system under strain. The organizations that thrived were those that could adapt quickly, diversify their supply chains, and leverage real-time data to make informed decisions under pressure. The modern operational environment demands readiness across every domain: land, sea, air, cyber, and space. Traditional, linear models are no longer sufficient. Joint multi-domain and allied integration are now essential for success. Exercises like Pacific Sentry have shown the value of continuous wargaming and learning, enabling forces to anticipate and adapt to emerging threats. Digital threats and global dependencies mean that logistics networks must be both resilient and redundant, capable of withstanding and recovering from disruption in any form. Defending logistics superiority requires proactive measures, building resilient supply chains, anticipating adversary actions, and protecting against both cyber and kinetic threats. The 2017 NotPetya cyber attack on Maersk, which crippled global shipping operations, is a stark reminder that digital vulnerabilities can have real-world consequences. Measuring defensive effectiveness through rigorous testing exercises like NATO's locked shields ensures that resilience isn't just assumed, it's proven. Winning the logistics fight means owning the supply line, not just defending it. Technology is now the decisive edge in logistics. Intelligence, surveillance, predictive analytics, and multi-source data fusion are transforming logistics from a reactive function to a predictive, adaptive capability. Ukraine's use of commercial drones, AI-driven analytics, and decentralized communications has enabled rapid adaptation and resilience against Russian disruption. Additive manufacturing and blockchain are enabling secure, just-in-time supply in contested environments. But technology alone isn't enough. Cyber defense and digital resilience are equally critical to maintaining the advantage. Russian logistics doctrine emphasizes mass and centralization, but recent conflicts have exposed significant weaknesses: fixed infrastructure, fuel bottlenecks, and poor cyber hygiene. Ukrainian forces have effectively exploited these vulnerabilities, targeting supply convoys and logistics hubs to paralyze Russian sustainment. Effective exploitation requires relentless, intelligence-driven, multi-domain operations that strike at the most fragile points in the logistics chain. The lesson is clear. Adaptability and resilience are more valuable than sheer capacity. Logistics is now the decisive battleground. The operating environment has fundamentally changed, and success depends on technological superiority, supply chain resilience, commercial intelligence, strategic partnerships, and risk management. History offers hard lessons, and the integration of technology and data is now a force multiplier. The imperative is to treat contestation as the norm, not the exception. Logistics must be everyone's business, no static lines, only those who innovate, integrate, and dominate. The call to action is simple: move beyond static thinking. Innovate, integrate, and stay one step ahead. In this new era, victory belongs to those who contest logistics every day on every front.